5 seconds. Here we go. Share. Turn this up. This is our special report that just came out about the Israeli general, and we're going to talk about it more after this.
Oh, wait. A special report breaking right now coming out of Israel. Apparently, a former head of the Israeli military space program claims that extraterrestrials have made contact with officials in the United States and Israel over the years as well. But the aliens won't come out public because they say the people would freak out. That's the word coming in from Israel. He says humanity isn't ready. The professor, who's retired, General Haim Ashed, said this week during an interview with a Hebrew language paper, Yediot Haranot, Ashed told the paper that aliens are already among us on Earth, and several species have formed a Galactic Federation akin to the whole outlook of.
This is live, folks.
According to him, it's amazing. He also.
I'll be talking in a minute.
The U.S. and Israel have been collaborating with aliens on space travel for years, and that the U.S. president right now, Donald Trump.
Hi, Phoebe. Hi, Audrey.
Is on the verge
Hi, Rick.
of revealing their existence. So this is the breaking news, and I got the special panel right now joining me on Thursday's the Moon. We got Doc Skinner from 1020 Productions, along with Dr. J from Dr. J Radio Live, and Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal. And we're just going to get into it. This news is just coming in, so we've been following it, but I want to get Doc Skinner's opinion of this breaking news.
This was recorded about an hour or two ago, just so you know.
Oh, wow. It's kind of a mixed emotion for me. One side is saying, we've known this for a long time. Another side is,
we're going to talk all about this later.
It's getting, it's being put in the light that it needs finally. And it's kind of funny how, Star Trek has so many elements to it that we are now seeing in today's world. And the fact that they're mentioning it being Galactic Federation, like in Star Trek, verified the story I heard a while back about how Gene Roddenberry had a friend that was in the secret space program, and once a year they would have cognac at the cabin, go fishing, and talk stories. And Gene was told they could never mention it, so he started revealing it through science fiction storylines. And if you look at a lot of technology you see in that old show we have today, and the fact that they're calling the Galactic Federation legitimately, not in Star Trek world, but in this real world, with Israel working with the aliens. And of course, we all know, the people in the know, we've known about the agreements between other races and our U.S. military all the way back to Eisenhower. So for me, there's no surprise there, but it's kind of a surprise that our lifetime. Most people said, "Oh, not my lifetime, not my lifetime." Well, it's happening in our lifetime, and even though a lot of us know in the back of our mind this is legit, there's still that cognitive dissonance and wanting to still be skeptic. When is it going to be when we can finally just say, yes, it's absolutely solid? Okay, there's no more question, are we alone? Because stuff like this with experts, and he's a scientist, correct, with the space industry in Israel, correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. He was a general in the Space Force program for Israel.
Right. So here we have an amazing, credible, probably decorated individual, well-trusted, extremely intelligent. If this wasn't real, why would he ruin his reputation and everything he's done? It's just like the gentleman that ran Area 51. He mentioned we have spacecraft that can take ET home.
Remember that?
Now, someone in that position, they're not going to just make lighthearted of that unless they're trying to say something under the water. And the fact that this gentleman has come out,
hey, Audrey,
probably, is scared of ridicule alone, amongst many other things, possibly even, disappearing. He's come out and he has said this, and a lot of people are going to try to debunk or dismiss or say he's a nerd, or probably say he has some, dark skeletons in his closet, anything to discredit him to keep this aside, because that's what we're dealing with. It's a gigantic, multi-decade facade that's been portrayed on the public, and the veil is lifting. And I strongly believe in all this. I've seen things, you've seen things, a lot of us have seen things. We know there's something to it, and it's not a mass hallucination. So having this gentleman, this professor or scientist come out and publicly state this, that is the question, right? That's the whole question. That's why did this guy, Ashid, he comes out now and he has these extraordinary claims, like he says that the aliens have already helped the U.S. and Israel set up an underground base on Mars, and that we are waiting for humans to reach a stage where we understand what space and spaceships are. This is something, obviously, that everybody, like you said, Doc.
Stephen, he's coming on next. Dr. J. Listen, just keep listening.
That. He also said, Ishii told the paper that he was coming out with these claims.
And I did get your email.
Because the academia has been more open to these such ideas. Isn't that amazing, right? That now the public, the media,
you guys hear it okay?
Talking about it, and they're open and ready to rock. So let's bring in Dr. J right now from Dr. J Radio Live with us on this breaking news. What's your thoughts on Ashid's claims, and why now?
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it. First of all, we know that we've been in this soft disclosure acclamation for decades. As a matter of fact, which started in 1947, the poo-pooing of all UFO stories and flying saucers was supposed to end after 50 years. So this should have happened a decade ago.
Yeah, Rick, we're going to talk all about this in just a minute. I just wanted to play this call, this conference call we had today.
Okay, we've heard this how many times that we're on the verge of it, or it's going to happen, or and then let's think about the incentives. What incentives does the President of the United States have to give us this knowledge? Well, for one, you're going to be announcing that there's this technology that we don't know how it works. But if you have competing nations that want this technology, I couldn't see why they would want this out there. So that's the pessimism side. Optimistically, on the other hand, again, as Doc said, we've all known the truth. Most of us have seen something. Most of us have seen something more than once. Nowadays, it's far more accepted to talk about these topics without being thrown under the bus. As
I'm watching Third Phase's live chat room and my live chat room at the same time.
I have some good friends that lead me right to the president's Oval Office, whether they be
Dr. J's
politicians, who I go back, as you guys know, for years, all the way to his advisor, to other people like CIA, DIA, etc. No one has said anything. I haven't heard anything about any major announcement, and I would have heard something that would have thrown everything that's been sort of in the media this year. If something was going to come out positive to help the president, that would have sort of gotten people's mind off some of the other sad stories that were going on that were fiction, essentially. Then I would have heard some rumbling about it. But then again, I would imagine that people like Roger Stone or Jerome Corsi or Congress.
Yeah, Stephen, I got your email. I've had a busy day today.
Knows on topics like this. However, someone in the Israeli Space Force like General Eshad would. So the fact that he's saying this, knowing that we all know he's a general, he has a lot to lose by saying something like this. And the fact that it's not repeated immediately is another good thing. And let me throw one final thing into the mix. When the DOD released the Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos, in my mind, and people who were listening to my show at the time, everyone heard me say that to me was disclosure, because you had the U.S. government releasing footage of anomalous craft saying that they're not ours and they fit the definition of UFOs. So after that happened, I've been more hopeful that it's going to happen in our lifetime, like Doc said.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Dr. J. I would have to still, I'm on the fence about the Navy videos, whether these are legitimate UFO craft. It's still.
And we're going to talk about some of the craft here too after this.
We got all kinds of videos that
This isn't
blow
that
away
long.
the Department of Defense Navy videos. And I just want to see the whole cut. I want to see the entire video, and I'm sure everybody agrees with me on that. But now back to the sheet, his claims are insane. He says if he'd come up with this, he says about 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized. He says now, today, they're already taking it differently. He says, I have nothing to lose. I have received my degrees and awards, and I'm respected in the universities abroad. So where the trend is also changing, he feels comfortable now coming out with this news. That's insane, because he said 5 years ago, they might have put him in the hospital for this kind of information. So this is very sensitive stuff. We got Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal. Let's get
It's my first time with Michael.
Michael,
Brilliant.
on this breaking news coming in.
Really good
Behind it. They said that maybe Donald Trump is on the verge of giving us disclosure. Your thoughts, Michael?
Well, what's interesting is so many people thought that Trump would be the one to.
Thank you, Frapsat. Appreciate you.
In one way, shape, or form. And indeed, he was addressing certain instances such as Area 51, and there were some documents that classified in certain ways during the time he was in office. But a direct answer or anything even close to peripheral was quite elusive. And honestly, most times when the president talked about these topics, it seemed more like a spiteful tease than anything informational for us to kind of work with. My initial thought in reading this article was, is this disinformation, or is this really a step towards disclosure? There is evidence suggesting that many organized bodies that in the past would have considered entertaining the idea of extraterrestrial existence may be dropping hints, albeit through certain media outlets or, even, high-ranking movies here that everybody's watching, of their knowledge to pave the way towards a more gentle introduction to that sort of paradigm that we might be headed towards. Esha does have some respectable credentials, and for that reason, we'll look very closely at him. But there have been many instances in the past where there have been people stepping forward with certain accolades and credentials that were perhaps disinformants and people who were trying to throw a wrench in understanding what we're really researching here. I'm not suggesting that that's definitely the case with Esha, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. It isn't really that aliens don't want us in the Galactic Federation, as the article initially suggests.
Right.
Going further, Esha said they view us as simply not being ready. Could Space Force programs be some sort of our effort to show them that we are organized and perhaps reaching out in some sort of way? If it's true that the extraterrestrials won't come down until they deem us ready, of course, there's nothing we can do to force that. But I feel like there's a possibility that they're laying the foundation for something more to come in the way of at least disclosure for the upper echelons of our government, and perhaps hopefully for the mass population if they realize that this is probably an inevitability at some point in our near or just not too far off future. And the last thing I'm going to say is I agree with Doc Skinner in this. Truth is oftentimes stranger than fiction.
It is.
When you have, again, the movies and the shows that we have with certain concepts dealing with time travel or, bases on different planets, it's been suggested many times before, again, that these are sort of the softening introductions to something that comes much more heavily in terms of manifestation later on. And the veil is thinning. The veil is thinning. I do believe that we are closer to at least understanding.
We're not ready spiritually and politically correct. You are correct, Rick.
Or what's coming, but at least I have a feeling that things are getting.
We're almost done, folks, and then we're all going to talk.
Within the next coming years, we're going to really understand a story like this and what Esha is sharing.
Absolutely, Michael. And this is my thoughts on this as well, is we're living in this time. We got 7 billion people on this planet with a collective conscience, and we're living it all together on this planet. And I think it's almost destiny. We're going to see what we all dream of. And this disclosure is part of that dream. And I think we're going to realize it because of the collective consciousness around the world. It's just it's basically manifested through our thoughts of everybody's conscious wanting the disclosure, and now it's coming to a pinnacle, in my opinion, due to the fact that the major media is talking about it. Now we have Sheed, a retired general from the Israeli space program, coming forward with these incredible claims. Tunnels built on Mars, and the president's going to disclose. Doc, before we close it out, I just want to ask everybody for one last question here, but let's start it off with you, Doc. With this, the implications behind what has just been announced to the world, do you think the president might even make a statement on this, or is the U.S. major media going to follow up and maybe we need to get this a sheet on third phase of the moon? But wow, this is incredible.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Is I think we should do that, get him on, because with everything going on with media, it's a possibility of them just trying to wash it under the rug or debunk it or make fun of it. I think we should be covering it. Wow, I mean, it's a big thing. It's a big deal, and it could change everything. We just have to see what happens. And if we could get him on and get some more detail, I think that'll give us and our audience a better perspective. But what I think is amazing is his claims actually kind of, I guess you could say, reinforce other person's stories. For example, that they're with bases on Mars. You have Andrew Basiago talking about the tunnels, and when there's photos of tunnels or things that look like tunnels on Mars. You have the city of Sedona, and stories of people saying that we've had over 500,000 humans transported to Mars through things like jump rooms or TR-3Bs. So it just makes you go, huh.
I do have to say though that Basiago, but Sheed, the general from the Israeli, confirmed, out in the public, this is a man of, high acclaim. So this is very, very bizarre. But go ahead.
I totally agree, but I'm just saying we've heard these stories before about underground bases and military going back and forth on Mars and other planets. And here is this general. Do you have a Galactic Federation? Is he going to tell us that, like we've been told by others through podcasts in the past, that there is a Galactic Federation based on the moon, on the dark side? Could that be true because of this claim? So it really raises an eyebrow, and with his credibility, it makes you really want to look at it. So yeah, I think we should investigate it a little more, but it's very, very optimistic and uplifting to think this could be it. 2020 is over.
Yeah.
2021 is something spectacular.
Yeah, so we're going to let Dr. Skinner go. I know he's a busy man. We're going to get to Dr. J and Michael in just a second, but go ahead, Doc. Give everybody.
Yeah, since I just get in my email. Okay, so you can check that out on Third Phase of Moon. Let me get back over here. Oh man, exciting times that we're living in. Hey there, hi there, ho there, kids. Welcome everybody. Did I get everybody? We got a newcomer, Asteroid coming. Hello. He's saying lies. Yeah, well, I mean, some people, everybody's one way or the other. Let's see. Rick was mentioning that we're not spiritually or politically ready yet, and I totally agree. I feel that we're still in children mode in the mass majority. So let's see. Steven says actually Galactic Federation base and council meeting chambers are in Greenland. Well, that's actually a decent location if they were to have things there. Wait, where did everything go? Oh, there they are. Oh, it just jumped. That's what happened. I was like, what happened to my messages? One of the most secure located bases in all of our world. It's even more secure than Antarctica. They even have beings there that are in prison underground. I've heard those stories as well. It's just, God, interesting times. Stephen Greer, yes, thumbs up. I actually went with Rich and to where were we in Phoenix or Scottsdale, and interviewed him. We got an exclusive first interview with him before his movie premiere, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. It was groundbreaking. Is that the word? Not groundbreaking news, but it was breaking news. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Valerian. Okay, you guys are all talking to each other. Valerian's here, students here, and you guys are titillating each other. Wonderful. Okay, so here we go. If you haven't subscribed to Third Phase Moon, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to here, then why? Did I do something wrong? You don't love me? Hit the damn button! Every now and then I have a little. So yes, hit the button and hit that like bell so you get notified whenever I come on with my madness here on the interwebs. So, hey there, hi there, hello there. Hope you're all doing well, Where was I going with this? Oh, yes, let's talk space and aliens, since that is the big topic of the day. I've got none other on my board, so we're just going to roll with this one. Yes, I am going to tell you what I think. I'm going to give you my opinion, and it can change. It can be reassessed. So here's where I'm at. All my decades, well, actually my entire life. I mean, since age, like, I think earliest was 3, boom. No one can tell me aliens aren't real, UFOs aren't real, Bigfoot's not real, and ghosts, apparitions, spirits, and demons are not real. You can't tell me that. It doesn't matter what you say to me. You can call it cognitive dissonance on your end of the spectrum if you like. That's fine. But I've lived a life with all this weirdness incorporated into it. It's part of who I am. That's why I'm weird. And so I've seen things, and I know I'm old enough and mature enough to realize that I know how to think for myself and not let my life be led by other people's opinions and beliefs and truths. So I've always been like a fox molder. You know, no matter what, go after it, find out. And so I believe in all that. I believe that we have bases on Mars. I believe that we have stargates. I believe that all this stuff that you see, and not all, but a good majority of things that you see in movies considered as fiction or sci-fi actually stems from truth in some form or another. And that has been an element of a long game type of soft disclosure, basically as long as media, books have been around to influence and inspire and encourage, enlighten people. I mean, it's these forms of communication, books, magazines, art, movies, TV, all are manipulated. Period. End of sentence. No other way of looking at it. That is it. Period. Let me explain. Everything you see, everything you read, everything you take in, from others is influenced by them, by those individuals with their agendas. When they tell a story like The Wizard of Oz, it was actually about, I'm not sure, pretty sure it was about the 1920s, the farmers and the gold. All of these things are mentioned in The Wizard of Oz, and it's supposed to be telling a story, but that's a whole nother night show may do one time, day, future thing, blah. That's how you talk when you've had a stroke. Everything is it's like, so that's how, yeah. after effects of that medical condition. So, okay, Valeria I got an alien head. That's pretty cool. There are a bunch of them walking around, and I'll read. Stephen, you're writing a book here, so I'm gonna have to catch up with that in a minute. Valeria says, yes, you're right. It is, and I discovered that secret early on in my life, in the very beginning of years of doing entertainment. I couldn't tell you where the moment was that I was like, Eureka, this is, it's all an illusion. Okay, a manipulated illusion. But I looked at it like a magician. I'm like, wow, I'm learning, the secrets to all these tricks and how to control a group, how to sell excitement. I can be a really good salesman if I want to be. I'm just not a big fan of salesmen. So, it's, and that's what it is. And that is why so many people connect to these movies, these TV series, sci-fi and all that. Why we have Comic-Cons, because people in their inner essence, their soul, their being know in that there is truth to this. And they know it and they believe it. Like people believe in the Force because something tells them it's way beyond an idea of George Lucas. That it is actually something. But because of the way society shuns society, or people in general, we take on these personas as cosplay characters, or we get lost in our fantasies or our games. We get, because we feel like we know there's something there that has element of truth, of some form of reality maybe we haven't experienced yet, but we know, and then we connect. And it might be the storyline, the underdog. I mean, there's so much undertones in things. There's so much hidden Easter eggs in movies and TV shows, because directors and writers and actors and set designers and dressers and costume people, they know. They know. It doesn't take long to figure it out in the business. But once you know, it's kind of like, we've all learned about the open secret, with pedophilia and all that. But this is like the other secret that is never talked about. And it's not necessarily always nefarious and evil, but it's there. I mean, from cartoons all the way back to when cartoons started, they had propaganda with Disney characters and Bugs Bunny, during the World War, there was a lot of war cartoons, buy U.S. bonds. But the kids are just looking at it as this really cool, cartoonish, artistic, animated characters that are dancing around on their little black and white boxes. But in the background, you have all these messages, like the one of Daffy McDuck, I think it was. Yeah, Daffy Duck is Disney. So it was like Scrooge McDuck or something. And in the cartoon, I don't know if any of you'll probably find the image. I know the image, you can Google it. But it shows Scrooge McDuck or one of the duck characters. And behind him there's a sign on the wall. And this is like back probably, we'll extend this maybe as far as the 70s. But it said, it looked like an eye chart, and it said, ask about the Illuminati. So things like that, all the stuff you hear about the cartoons and the things that are hidden in there. Yes, not 100% of the time is it done purposefully, because I have a good friend. His name is Dave Woodman. He was one of the he was one of the main animators in Little Mermaid, and he drew specifically one of the characters was the minister, which has a conspiracy theory that he got a little aroused. And if you look at it, yeah, okay, I can see it, but most people, they want to do the conspiracy theories and speculate. Well, I'm like, shoot, I know. I'm just gonna call him. So I called him. I gotta have Dave on here. He's done a lot of cool stuff too. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call Dave. Let me put him down real quick. Dave, he's a great animator. He's a really nice guy. Dave Woodman. I'll have to give him a little shout. Interview. Let's see what I can do about that. We'll talk about that too. We'll talk about all those little Disney conspiracies and what were just mistakes that just happened to happen, and the eye picked those things out, or were they purposely done? Maybe it was to see how far they could go and get away with it, or was it a disgruntled employee? I mean, we don't know. I don't know. But we'll find out. I'll contact Dave Woodman and see if we can have him come on the show. He would be a fun guest. Yeah. And he's a really good cartoonist. Okay, so there. Call Dave, have him on your show. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call him. Hey Adam, how are you? Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm just kind of doing my thing. Okay, so where we were talking about cartoons and see, wow, I cannot believe I can reel back this far on the digression scale because I went way over here. Going back. So in movies and TV and film, all right, there is manipulation. I do it myself in my projects. Seriously. If you know me and you watch these videos, and a lot of them are on YouTube, on my YouTube page, I hide stuff because it's fun. That's why we call them Easter eggs, because they're fun to look at. You got people that like watching movies at half speed, kind of catch things, And who's really famous for doing it? Marvel. Okay, they are like the masters of hiding stuff in their films and Easter eggs, connecting things with other things, and that they filmed years in the past, and then they put in this new movie. Like, wow, brilliant. Give it up to Marvel. They know how to do it right. Okay, when it comes to Easter eggs. And a lot of other things, but that's what we're talking about, Easter eggs. So if you're one of these people, like myself and others, that know these things, you see media, you see TV series, book series, movie series, all that, YouTube series, you start to see these patterns. Not as well, maybe not patterns, but you see the signs of, okay, I see, okay, I see how this is all connecting. It gets addictive. It really does, because it's like you're in on this secret, right? So here we are with media, magazines, newspapers, news, whatever you want to call it. And it's manipulating everyone that is unaware of it due to cognitive dissonance or simple feeble-mindedness for whatever reason. But it is a fact, and the powers that be abuse this secret to manipulate the masses to go this way or that. And this whole division thing, there was never really true division. It's what they put us up against each other. It's I don't know if it's in the art of war, but I know they've used it in the military where, if you got like 4 or 5 guys, but you've got 2 big gang groups, right? You're not going to try to go through that, down that alleyway or whatever, you're going to somehow get them pissed off at each other and take it out on each other and wipe each other out. And then you just go collect your guns and walk on down the alleyway. And I mean, see, that's my plan. Just grab the first gun off the first dead body when the whole, what you call it, Armageddon happens. So, Valerian says, be right back. My satellite phone is blowing up. Valerian, that sounds awesome. I want one. Actually, I know a guy that sells them. It's just, it's just not cheap. But that is one of the final things on my preppers lists of things they don't have. So Valerian, pretty lucky, bro. Lunar Sparkles is here. Hello, hello, hello. All right, back to this. I'm going to try to stay on topic. So, yes, when I hear, like today, that the huge multi-star general, whatever, from Israel, who ran the space program from 1989 to 2010, okay, it's what, 21 years. And he's at it, he's 87 now. So he's at this point where he's just like, what are they going to do, court martial me? I'm too old, maybe he knows something that we don't about his health, and he's like, screw it, let's do this, let's get it revealed. Or maybe it's Israel wants to be the first country, the official country, to announce this, and then other countries possibly following in suit, to where kind of like the legalization of pot. It was just it was one state and a couple states, and now Congress is trying to pass to legalize it completely. Okay, and that is another way that things have changed. Not just do the powers that be use this to manipulate it, but the people use it to manipulate the other people as well. Look at campaign videos. And the comparison to where drug commercials were 20, 30 years ago. Okay. I mean, a long way different. Because it's a slow transition of society. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is. It's progression. And you have these generations who, like the cell phone generation, the ones who were born and they had their photo taken with an iPhone, and as soon as they were able to hit the buttons, they were given one, and they've had one ever since. That's all they know. So of course, to them, that's slow. It's not fast enough. I need more megabytes. I need more gigs, terabytes, more memory. And they don't understand what it is to actually, instead of just Google for a job, boom, I actually have to go out, look in the newspaper, look in the periodicals at the library, look on bulletin boards, on notes on there, walking door to door, where now everything is done online. Everything is so instantaneous. And this generation, to them, that's slow. Because it's normal. They want more, just like everybody wants something better. And so the fact, how long was it? 41 minutes of me beating her. So the fact, all the way back to the beginning, that this is being announced now, which also makes you question, why now? And like I said, it could have been, he could be dying. He could just be like, I don't care, I'm just going to tell everybody. They need to know. We've kept it secret long enough. And enough people know, like you and me and so many others who have dealt with ridicule and hate and disowning of friends because they think we're nut jobs, because they just weren't awake yet. Everybody doesn't wake up at the same time. Unless it's a gigantic meteorite coming towards our planet, then we all wake up, or we grow up real quick. Like Reagan said, what it would be like if we could drop all of our differences because we had to deal with something like an alien invasion, you know, all of our differences would be nil. Think about it. If we found out that a solar flare so massive, which actually tomorrow we have one. I talked about it last night on my last night's show, so check it out. Showed the science video thing showing the CME coming towards the Earth, and it's a doozy. It's a nasty one. I'm not saying all power is going to go out, but there will most likely a very, very dang diggity dong good chance that there's going to be a pretty good, decent earthquake. Whether it's one or a couple, I don't know. But what we have learned, what scientists have learned and researchers, what I read about, is that just in the past couple of years, less than 5, they've discovered that when a CME shoots towards the Earth and hits us, we get solar flares, activity, power can go out sometimes, or if you're near the aurora borealis, it's really pretty. You can see all that. But we have our electromagnetosphere that protects us and helps keep the atmosphere, all that stuff in, right? Well, what if we had one that hit us so hard that it punctured a hole in our atmosphere? Think about that. I mean, I'm sure it eventually heal back up. But if we had something, shoot, a comet or asteroid that would just be bad all around. But I'm saying let's keep to like solar flares, and it damages our magnetosphere, and then another one comes, boom, we've got a solar storm, literally like on our planet, 300-mile-an-hour winds, buildings being destroyed. You ever wonder why military has all the underground bunkers and tunnel systems? Because they, remember, well, God, anyway, it's around my age. You'll remember when Clinton was in the White House. He was the president. Do you remember he started shutting down military bases around the country due to budget cuts? Well, let me ask you, old timers like myself. Do you remember every weekend you could drive down the roads, the highways and whatnot, and there was usually a really good chance you would pass a military convoy that would be coming between bases. Well, probably in the more locations where they have bases, people would see this, but even on the main highways that you would usually see on the weekends because of, they're doing training, right? And then, Clinton comes in and starts shutting down bases, even though some of them mysteriously don't fully shut down, but, they're taken off the board, you might say. And then we have all these DUMBs, deep underground military bases, and tunnel maglev train systems that connect them all. Well, now, if you go out and shoot, if you can drive across country, and the chances of passing a military convoy are very, very slim these days. And of course, a lot has moved on the trains back and forth. But why underground? Why did President Trump give our military, I think it was like $3 million, was it $3 million? Or $30 million? Something to train. Anyway, it was to train an elite group of forces to battle underground. I mean, deep underground, to where in cases they had to have special equipment, special weapons, special meters and gauges that would tell them, how much oxygen there was there. They had to have oxygen tanks, and they were learning all this stuff. Why would you put money towards that unless you didn't think that there was going to be something going on under the ground? Well, Clinton knew about the sun and found out from Spy team, the remote viewing team, which was blackout top secret then. And the ones that reported, Major Ed Dames, who reported to the president, told him about this. So they know something's coming. And here we are, folks, on the 21st of December, we have all the planets aligning. For the first time in 6,000 years. Let me repeat that. For the first time in 6,000 years, all the planets will be lined up. And what's that going to do? I know it's not going to be a normal Tuesday, whatever day of the week. What day of the week is that anyway? I think I said it was I think I looked on that last night. Yeah, it's Monday. So 2 weeks from now, or a day less than 2 weeks from now. So I'm probably going to do my show outside. It'll be dark, but I got my new iPhone 12 and shoots in 4K, so we'll see how that works. If not, I'll have my Psionics color night vision camera. We could probably look through lens on that. Now, put that all together, amongst all the other things. We've got the end of 2020, so why not go out with a bang, right? With something really crazy with all this alignment. We've got this solar flare that's hitting tomorrow. It's probably going to cause some earthquakes, maybe some electrical issues. Don't know, but it has the possibility. Hey, alien girl, I'll read all this later, sweetie. I'm on a roll here, and I'm trying not to lose my train of thought. But yes, December 21st, planets align. Correct. It's on my Facebook page. You can probably look it up on YouTube. There's a video on it. You didn't know that? Yep, that's true. So everybody's like focuses on each day. They're like, oh, what's the big thing today? And they'll focus on that, and they start forgetting about things that have happened in the past. It kind of just falls in the cracks, right? Well, I hold on to all that crap, and I put it all together. So you got all these bunkers. You got all, what was it? Vivos underground bunker facility. I know that because I almost worked for them. And they've been setting up bunkers all over the world. Churches have been setting them up, businesses, neighborhoods, coming together with the money and building a big community underground bunker. And it's been a huge business. You've seen they have reality TV shows on it. Vivos actually, I think, had a TV show. So if it's all a conspiracy, then why are so many people preparing for something? There are a lot of variations of what each of these people are preparing for, and that can be due to their geography, where they are, and their knowledge of what's going on. How can half the world be crazy? How can it be more than half of the world be delusional? I mean, these subjects of other beings have been around as long as man. Now, we have this planet thing, alignment, that only happens every 6,000 years. Okay? I am not a Bible scholar. And if somebody out there is, don't be snarky. Just if you could give me the answer. The flood was in the Old Testament, if I'm correct. I would like to know what year BC was that, the flood, 40 days night. I want to know when that is. Okay? Because if it's more than 1,000 years, that's 3,000 years. Planet Nibiru, Planet X, whatever you want to call it, its orbit is 3,000 or 3,500 years, every 3,500 years. What, folks, what if it's just not one thing that's going to happen? What if it is a cornucopia of holy crap? All these elements, all these things that people have been talking about, that cultures have sat around the fire and discussed, stargates, the tribes. The tribes here, they've got stargates. There's a stargate here on the mountain. I haven't seen it because it's on Resland, and unless you are tribal, you can't. You got to have escorts and stuff or permission. Usually somebody with you, and they're not going to take me to that. But I am aware of it, and it's damn close, less than 10 miles from here, I think. And so there's that, and then I mean, Utah, the Pueblos, the Navajo, the Apache, the Hopi. I mean, there's so many tribes, and they all tell these stories of things way before Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek. Okay, way before technology was known, before the steel injury. I mean, we're talking Egypt. Look at the pyramids. You got the pyramids with it has the land speeder and the yacht and the Apache helicopter in the hieroglyphics, not just painted, carved into the pyramid wall. Folks, back to the whole point of how we as a society are manipulated through story, whether news, entertainment, education, what have you. You have not been told the complete truth. Do I know all of the complete truth? No. But I know a lot more than the average bear. Because I pay attention, I learn, I look for it, I find it, I research it. There's actually, that doesn't really associate with what I'm talking about, so leave that alone. Hold on, hold on, Phoebe, thank you very much. Let me check this out. I'm looking at you. I've been looking into your eyes. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. So, Rick was mentioning he saw convoys all the time. Yeah, right. I know. Ayla says, Alien Girl 111 says, because it's so easy to hide it underground. A barn can be entrance to a Stargate. Yes. Yes. Alien Girl says, December 21st, planets align. They sure do. Antonio Caldwell, welcome, says deluge. And Phoebe says, 2348 BC, give or take a few years. Okay, all right, okay. Whoa. So, I'm looking for something. Oh, here we go. All right, so 2348 BC was the flood. And they said, or the researchers have said, that planet Nibiru came around and orbited around the Earth during the flood. That once it came up to the Earth, the gravitational pull was so intense, it created huge tectonic plate displacement and releasing underground springs that literally just shot up, created storm clouds, and flooded the Earth, because the Earth has water underground, if you didn't know that. A lot of it. So when that happened, it flooded, and it was supposedly, I think it's 3,000 or 3,500. Because hold on, okay, so 2,300 or 2348 BC, it's 2000. Oh my gosh, it's overdue. 2020. So that's, we got 863. That's 4,368 years. So it's overdue. But we've had people over the past 10 years saying, including the Vatican with the Lucifer Project, which is the double lens telescope here in Arizona, which the Vatican stole Indian land, not just regular Indian land, but I mean, totally. The mountain that they took was multiple Indian tribes, holy land where they would ceremony. Anyway, very, very messy, sad story, reality. But yes, they were, the Lucifer Project strictly was looking for wormwood. Wormwood, what's wormwood? Wormwood, I'm not going to look it up in the Bible, but it's there. It's a star that comes and falls into the shaft of the abyss and whatnot, and it made all the seas bitter, killed the third, it's havoc. And they say that is actually what they called wormwood was Nibiru, Planet X. And so I know it's kind of crazy, right? All this stuff, but these are stories that have been passed on, and stories have elements of truth or are come from someone's story and then frosting all over it or whatever. What am I trying to say? God, I am just digressing like a mofo. Miss Justice says, oh, wait, hold on. Miss Justice says the telescope is named Lucifer as well. Yes, it is, the Lucifer telescope. Maurice, hello, long time. Aloha, my friend. Glad you're doing okay and back on the airways. Thank you. Yes, it has been, I can sit here and go, oh, it's been a really horrific 3 months. But everybody has had a horrific 9 months. This almost 12 months, past 12 months. First few weeks of January, cool. Everything else just sucked. And yeah, it was rough. So, but here I am. I'm alive and kicking. Just like Simply Minds. Isn't it Simply Minds that said, I'm alive and kicking? Antonio says water. Water's always good, but I don't have any right now. There is water in this though. So got it covered. So yeah, so that's 4,368 years from this year. I thought it was every 3,500 years, but who knows? Who knows? But anyway, so it came around the earth, caused the floods, killed off all the men, and then or people, except for Noah and the animals. And then when it came back around and it went off to go do its 3,500 or 4,000 year cycle, whatever rotation, the waters receded because there was no more big catastrophe from all the gravitational pulls and whatnot. Anywho, so that's interesting. Thank you very much, Phoebe, for that. I've brought this up and I've never figured it out, like how many years it actually is to today. So interesting. Now, if it's just interesting. Who knows what's going to happen? Wormwood is Phoebe says wormwood is mentioned specifically in the book of Revelations. Oh my God, I hope I am gone by the time that stuff goes down. Okay, Phoebe. I know anybody in the right mind would not want to be here. Like, rapture me, please, right? Okay. So here is another crazy thought of Papa Doc. I was watching a sci-fi series, funny one, kind of had some drama, but it was funny because it was a crew of space people on a craft, trying to save the world or whatever. I'm pretty damn sure all of the cast members on crew are every single one of the cell phone, what are they called? Spokespersons. Cell One, Verizon, like each one is on this show. I'm not saying they look like it is them. All right. And the writer and creator of the show, who also plays kind of like the janitor on the ship, the mechanic. I don't remember his name, but he is the creator and the dude that was in Mystery Science 3000. So they have like coffee pot robot machines and stuff. It's awesome. So anyway, back to what I was saying. This is why I need a co-host, because I go off to the side. So in this show, there was an episode, all right, where there was a magnetic situation and a planet formed. All right, everything went and formed this planet. They needed minerals off this planet. So they sent to, I think, the Verizon girl and one of the other guys, and they go down, and they're down for 6 hours to grab all of this material, which is fuel for their spacecraft. Well, as they're doing it, they're getting stuff. They're realizing the clock is broken. It's not doing anything. And then several hours later, it clicked to 5:59. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's time displacement. And they were mentioning how and they went all, it's really cool because they kind of get really edgy with the words and scientific. So you're like, oh, they know what they're talking about. They mentioned that what was supposed to be 6 hours on the ship in orbit ended up being 8 months on the planet. All right. So here is Papa Doc way of thinking. We hear God created the heavens and the earth in 7 days. But we have scientists who say, no, it was 7,000 years. So who says it wasn't, God was, he's in the heavens above the earth, and to him, it's 7 days. But on earth, it was maybe 7,000 years. Time displacement. I don't know. Just a thought. Not saying it's legit. Just speculating. Tell me what you think. Let's see. Oh, you guys are cute. You're talking to each other. So sweet. But yeah, Phoebe, a part of me wants to go, heck no, I don't want to be around when the shit hits the fan. But to be honest, deep down, remember I was talking about this earlier, that core of knowing something's true. I call me crazy, but I feel we choose the lives we want to live before we come here. Kind of like going to college and standing in line for different classes, right? You want to learn this and this and this. Life, why not be the same? We're up in heaven. We're standing in line, like, okay, I want to experience love and happiness with family and kids and job, but I also want to understand what cancer is, or a heart attack, or just bad stuff. I think we take that. I think we choose it, and maybe just as me. If you got a problem, calm down. You think what you want, but that's how I see it. I was like registering for classes. Okay, I want to be in movies. I want to be a cartoon character. I want to narrate. I want to inspire people. I think I went crazy with the electives, though. I really do. So I've done a lot of stuff. Of course, I remember. I've mentioned this many times. I remember 5th or 6th grade, coming down the steps like a college student with my books in my hand, skipping down the steps, and something went on. I think it was like occupation day. Parents come and everything, and we kept getting a lot of parents doing the same stuff. Nothing that any of those jobs were bad. It was just like heard the same things over and over again, the stereotypical jobs. And I remember walking out going, I said to God, I was like, God, please, I want to have the most insane, crazy, interesting life I can have. And there have been days when I'm like, why did I say that? Because I get busy sometimes, but it happens. I think we choose that, and that is our class schedule. Our registered classes is our fate card. I could be totally wrong, folks. I don't know. It's just kind of how I wrap my mind around it. Does it make sense? Yeah, I need a co-host, right? Let's see. Spiritual contracts. I missed something? Spiritual contracts. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, like, okay, spiritual contract. That's a good way of looking at it, Miss Justice. I see where you're going. Very cool. So in that aspect or retrospect or whatever, something spect, I feel like I chose this time. Even though, yeah, there's some things that I feel I know I chose. Like, I know I chose to be a dad and have family, kids, and all that. And well, how that work out. So waiting. So, but if I found out I had kids, I'd just jump for joy. But if someone asked me if I wanted to purposely have one right now, it would make me happy. But at the same time, it's, God, the world is jacked. And all of you that have kids right now, dude, kudos to you. You guys are rock stars, man. Rock stars, especially having to do homeschooling and everything. So rewind. So yeah, I believe I chose to be here at this time now, but it was to inform and inspire and entertain people. And I have had many try to steer me in other directions. Be this, do that, and I will entertain. I will try it, but it just doesn't fit. So, wow, here I am, in a total loss of words. Not to know what. Someone jump in, because I lost like a bunch of people. I think I bored them. So I forgot I have a screen share. I can share, but what do I have to share with you? Nothing. Yeah, except the fact that this guy's base. Oh yeah, let's go back to that. So here we are with this general that's admitting all this. I mean, he has a reputation. He wouldn't want to destroy it. So what if he is in the know that there will be, disclosure in little pockets until kind of like the legalization of weed. It'll finally catch. And maybe he was to be the first official country or person to say that their country has this. Of course, that wouldn't be, because we've had many people say here in the States that we got this going on. So, okay, let me ask this. And I'm catching on to things as I talk too. So here we are, and the breaking news in the past 48 hours has been this story by this general saying, hey, yeah, we've made deals with aliens. We've been working with them for like almost 50 years and or longer. And well, they just think we're stupid and they're not ready to pop on out and say hi yet. So they're kind of watching from a distance and we see UFOs. Okay. Why is that breaking news? But yet we have all these, the Disclosure Project in Washington, D.C. at the National Press place in 2000, was it 10 or 1? Was it 2000? Crap. Don't tell Stephen Greer I forgot. But in fact, it happened. So you have all of these prime expert witnesses, highly credible, generals, people that were a part of these programs, coming forth and talking about, yes, it did. Now this kind of worries me. It did make press, not much, but it did. And it caught a little traction. Now that was our people, but we have somebody in another country, Israel, saying, oh yeah, this is how it is. And now everybody's kind of like, oh. And first off, why is everybody going, oh? Because if you have a bit of common sense, you should realize, yeah, we're not alone. Why? How should you know? Because we've been programmed to know this through movies, TVs. I remember went all over this. That it's a big thing. Here, let me just show you this. Wow, look at that. It's all connected, folks. It's all connected. Where is it? We got Majestic 12. We've got NASA, depopulation. Close Encounters of Eisenhower, Majestic 12, dumb, deep underground military bases. All this stuff I'm just talking about. Okay, so it's all connected. And if you're still not awake, not that you guys are, but I'm just talking to people in general that are still, maybe you're just, and you're just starting to see. Okay, don't just think everything, even though it's compartmentalized, don't isolate it when you find out about these things. Put them together. Grab your grandma's yarn and start putting string all over the room. It's kind of crazy looking, but it makes sense to us. Right? Let's see what we got going on over here. Let's see. Kayogasita? Kayogasita? Did I say that right? 79. All love. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. BB says Paul Hellier has tried to do that same thing. Many have. Nick Pope could say more, but why not? Yeah, I met with him. He was up here for a MUFON meeting 2 years ago. Nice guy. Tried to get him for Disclosure Con, but Disclosure Con. COVID. Anywho, so what do you guys think? You guys have been sitting here chatting with yourselves and just everything else, but what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be the tipping point, this announcement, or do you feel it's going to take more? I just don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Did it just reset? Wormwood is mentioned specifically. Yes. Okay, yeah, it moved up. Tell us some spooky stories. Well, a really, really good one that I made up was, did I tell that on Halloween? Did I do a show on Halloween? I think I did. I told a spooky story. That was a story. But you want like spooky story. Oh boy. You've all heard the abduction story, so you've heard the other abduction story where I got kidnapped. That scares me to this day when that happened to me. I got kidnapped, and there was the two little girls that were in the living room when I was 3, and I got away. I don't know what happened to them. That's why I have my crusade against pedophilia and child human trafficking and all that. Let's see. Spooky story. I got a buddy. He's a spooky story guy. He used to be like our Stephen King in the group. And Stargate Traveler says it's one step closer. I just watched Third Phase of the Moon. You think you are going to disclose? Vernon, yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Are they not already disclosing? Or because it doesn't have a big, parade and flash, it's just kind of happened, while nobody's really paying attention. It was kind of like hidden in plain sight, and it's been through media and film and all and TV, news, all this stuff. Our perception of the whole concept of, and I hate this term, are we alone? It's been a perpetual looping question that should not even be a question at all. But yet, through insecurities of some people that are worried that they'll be made fun of if they admit or agree to these topics, subject matters, or events, what have you, there's that fear. And what did was it Eisenhower said? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. fear is a construct in our minds. And the powers that be have got that shit figured out to a T, to where they manipulate us all the time. All the time. Let me tell you, if you didn't know, how many of you like to go to fast food places? All right. I'm going to name one of my favorites, probably not yours, but that's okay. Whataburger. All right? Whataburger. Now, anybody that knows of Whataburger most likely is a junkie for Whataburgers. Okay? When I go to the Valley, that's that and Slotsky's. Those are the two places I have to stop to get my fix when I'm visiting town down the Valley. But have you ever, for those that they know about Whataburger, have you ever wondered why it's orange? Why everything is orange? The color scheme and everything? Because people in the know that certain colors can create certain emotions or feelings. And yellow and orange are two colors that make people hungry. Hence why the golden arches are yellow. So right there, that's not entertainment. That's not me. That's how you eat. You are being manipulated to come in or to be hungry when you see that that orange W logo. Okay. And logos. Things are hidden in logos. Lots of symbolism, especially corporate companies and big industries. They all have some form of symbolic meaning that is not privy to the public, but they're there. Let's see. Oh, let me go over here because I haven't been on top of this, guys, and I apologize. I'm just kind of doing my rant. Mickey Hamilton is with us. Welcome, Mickey. Vernon is with us. Kyoga Yasita 79. I'm good. Or Kyoga Yasita. Kyoga Sita. I can make it sound cool in multiple ways. It's a cool name. Mickey says, I would love to hear a high-ranking official talk about everything we know so far and give it credibility. Well, that's what this Israeli general, it's why all the hype is going on right now in the past 40 hours about this story and him mentioning that, yes, our government and the American government have been working with alien species for a long time. They have a deal to allow them to do, this is what he said. You know, of course, we've known about it. It was in the X-Files. But that's what I'm saying. Elements of truth are in sci-fi and fiction and have been fed to us for years, creating that urge inside, like, God, something so right about what this is. And hence, like I said, you have people that are hardcore fans or junkies on certain TV shows or Star Trek, whatever. You know, they learn all the schematics. Look at Star Trek fans. Okay, I'm one. Okay, but look at what they do with their lives when it comes to this series or this phenomenon. Okay, Star Wars, another perfect example. People connected when the movie first came out. I mean, up to this day, but even on the first day, they had lines around the building of Ming's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And people went in and they came out and they had a life-changing experience. Why? Well, maybe there was some cool new special effects they've never seen before. That's some really cool, God, I'm really talking like a Yankee tonight with my hands. I need puppets or something, right? Okay. Just like tie my hands to my legs. So there's this connection to that truth. And a lot of people, Neo, the Matrix, perfect example, he knew there was something inside him saying, this isn't real. There's something off, you know? So directors and producers and writers and people in the movie industry that understand this and want to inform the public in the best way they can, hiding in plain sight, without us realizing they're doing it because it's under the auspices of entertainment. So we turn off that logic switch and take it as turn on fantasy switch and go for the ride. When the ones that really understand pay attention to these movies and they read between the lines, they catch the Easter eggs, they see the clues, they see the prophecies, the predictions that are in there that end up coming true in reality. So when a multi-star general who ran a space program for Israel, and some people don't like Israel, okay, that's fine, but you can't deny the fact that they have done some amazing things with their country, with inventions and medical advances, science, turning a desert into a lush garden. I mean, that's, Jews always plant a tree, plant a tree. Well, they plant a lot of trees. Now they have like all that they need, overabundance of food. They were the ones to learn how to take salt water and do some kind of process to turn into fresh water for drinking and growing crops. They were the first. Okay, can't deny it. They've come up with cures for diseases and just a whole bunch of stuff. Now, Israel and the military, they've got some things that might be questionable. Okay, I'm not here to debate about it. I'm just saying he's a legitimate, credible person. He's got his degrees, his university stuff. I mean, he's respected. So to come out and tell everybody, there truly is Mork for Mork, Nanu Nanu. Not that he did that. I'm just saying, I'm being facetious. Why? Why would a person in his right mind do that as a joke, let's say, and attach it to the Israel government, country, and the military? Okay, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. So when they asked me on the show, I was just like, part of me is like, yeah, we already knew. Big deal. Yeah, I mean that's not new news to us. But another part of me is like, well, at least something's happening. It's not just always swamp gas. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like I'm excited, but I'm disappointed at the same time. So I'm like right here. I'm like, okay. Land on the White House lawn. I'm ready. Sorry, I don't know how to do that. So, oh God, I have more. Oh shoot, this thing did not go down. Vernon says mental trigger. Yep. Mike says just talking about orange makes me so hungry. There you go. You didn't even have to see it. I mentioned it. You visualized the color orange, and you became hungry. Vernon says, MK Ultra. Yes. Okay, good. For those that know about MK Ultra, or don't, look it up, research it, okay? And don't just stop because you came to a video like, it's not real. Don't be that naive. Now, where was I? MK Ultra had multiple purposes. But one of the main purposes for MK Ultra experiments was to see how they could manipulate the masses. One of the experiments in MK Ultra was our government, and they admitted to this in court years later, of course, they never do it right after, that they had put LSD into a water supply of a town. And they did it in multiple places. A lot of those people ended up, in insane asylums, including a gentleman. There's a movie on Amazon called It's called Wormwood, actually. Yeah, it's called Wormwood. It's a documentary with dramatic acting as well, with really good actor. I mean, this guy's like a decent actor. Can't remember his name, but and then they cut to live interviews with family members and stuff, because this is a real event. But this guy was one of the first LSD experiments, and the government spooks took him up to a 13th floor hotel room and said, "Oh, you're going to be the show tonight," because they had just given him LSD without him knowing. And he lost his stuff, and the guys left him in the room, and for some or something to effect. But what happened was the guy dove out the window, 13th floor, and so that all went to court. That was public. So it does go on, and MK Ultra, yes, was to learn the techniques and the ways of breaking people's minds and basically mind control, getting them to do what you want. So moving on, like XX and Exxon, that's right. Exxon, especially double X cross or magic or witchcraft, is what X stands for. That's right. God loves Israel. It's all prophetic. Yep, I truly believe that. Vernon Daniels' television. Yep. Well, it's a television. Okay, and then you have broadcasting, casting a broad message, casting a spell. Then you have spelling. When you're spelling words, and words have power. They may not have mystical ippity boppity boo magic with little poof pink clouds, but they have power. All words have power. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take this to the extreme. But let's say, which I'm not going to, but let's say I said the N word. If a word had no power, no one would be upset that I had said that, which I didn't. But they would. They would just be like, But that word, because of society and the stigma they've attached to it and what the culture has attached to it, it is now, when said from a non-Black person, is, what? Because it has power. All words have power. One of the best ones is love. When you tell someone you love them, it just, what it does, because it has power. So when writers, news, books, newspaper, magazine, art, whatever, scripts, they are casting a spell over the reader or the viewer or the participant. Okay? They may not know that's what they're doing, but you talk to people in the circles of magic, they'll tell you, yeah, you can manipulate. Okay, another perfect example, To Kill a Mockingbird. That book is attached and synonymous to assassins, assassinations that have happened, where the assassin has the book on them, or they have multiples of the book, or every time they go see it in a bookshelf, they buy it, that kind of thing, because it has power. Spells. There are a lot of witches out there. They're not just a cartoon character for Halloween. They are real men and women, warlocks and witches, and they're out there and they cast spells because they understand the power of words and belief in those words. It's not just saying it. They have to believe in things too. So, God, all this because of a UFO announcement or an alien, you call it Galactic Federation. I believe in it. I think we do have it. That's why I listen to a lot of these people's stories that some people say are far-fetched. Because a lot of these people that tell me these stories, aren't getting monetization out of it. or they've lost a lot because they've told it, their story or what happened, whatever. And why would somebody feel that they have got to create a made-up story or a lie and write it so long that they lose family, friends, job, money, home, respect? I mean, so many things. Why would they do that? And this isn't just a few people. This is millions of people around the world throughout history that have all come up with these things, and they will put their pride and their ego aside. They'll say, no, gosh darn it, this is it. This is what I saw. I'm not crazy. No. Are there people out there that are crazy that say that they're seeing things? Yes. But let me tell you, folks, not every UFO video or alien video that you see is fake. Not everybody is a movie editor, okay? So, sorry, I just get irritated when there's these people and they just have that trigger where it's CGI. No, not CGI. Nah, I could do that on my phone. You obviously don't want to believe. You want to be in that haze, you're comfy, and it works for some people. Cool. Well, not for me. Not for many others. Am I babbling? I feel like I'm babbling. Let's go over here to the chat room real quick. God loves Israel. Yes, we got that. Yes, that's so true. Are you still eating Halloween candy? No, not right now. I'm actually eating wafer crackers because I've been eating all the damn Halloween candy, and I don't have that many clothes I can wear right now. I gave away all my fat clothes when I lost all my weight. So, yeah. So I'm down to all right, too much information. Moving on. Speak it into existence. Yes. Programming. Yes. Vernon says, could you imagine spelling bees with poofy pink clouds? LOL. Mike Human, that's interesting. It's kind of very Harry Potterish, or Dippity Doppity Doo from Cinderella or whatever, Sleeping Beauty, or any of it. They're all the same story. Let's see. Phoebe says, oh my God, that sounds what happens to that. Phoebe, spell check. Oh my God, that sounds what happened to Forrestal. Phoebe, what are you saying? Forrest Whitaker? Forrestal? For Thor? China Smith, welcome. Why did you pick the N-word? I'm sorry. No, like I said, I was trying to pick an extreme word. Please don't dig deep into it. Okay. The C word, cunt. I can say that, and it's a bad word, but I wanted to show how that word in particular has that power, and it creates that emotion because of the history of that word. That's what I was trying to point out. Not just because I'm just gonna pick, it really had a purpose. And there's many, like, okay, bitch. Even though it's used, by the youngins these days where they call women, and I don't approve of that. Not cool at all. Because it's a female dog and it's an insult. And I'm not innocent, never not saying it. Don't get me wrong. But I felt that was the one word that really has a horrific negative connotation about it, and it has that power. It like for example, you asked me a question. Well, why did you pick that N-word? It triggered because we are programmed to be triggered, to where most white guys, we'll have to go like N-word. We can't say it, even if we're with other white guys, because it's programmed into our head due to society. And so anyway, I don't want this to become a thing about race, because that's not what it was. It was just the power of words. That's what I was trying to get across, China. So I hope I didn't upset you, even though that was the point I was trying to make. Not that I was trying to use as an example. I'm just saying, yeah, the power of that one word alone is so powerful, and it has caused so much agony and grief of hundreds of years. So yeah, that's what it is. So China, I hope I kind of explain that a little better. Sorry if for any misrepresentation of how I was trying to present that. White and dark, Vernon says. I'm gonna go back to the chat room real quick. It's like a checkered floor. Are you talking about when I was talking about the other night about checkered floors, how it's interdimension? They use it in the Mason rituals to cross over to another dimension. You have the checkerboard on of course, checkers and chess. But you see a lot of that in movies. That is another Easter egg that they use in films. It was just used in what movie? It was you'll see a lot of symbolism from Masonic symbols, like the two tower pillars and the floor. And there's, anyway, I'm not an expert on that, but yes, they do incorporate a lot of that. Let's see. Vernon says Trump already started Space Force. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Hold on, wait. Where did it go? Are you kidding? No. I won't stand for that. I won't. What? No. Yes. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna show you what I got here. I so love this. It's a little smaller than I thought, but I totally dig it. I got me a coin. Is it gonna focus? It will focus when I get closer. Yeah, there. So go that way. So it's that side. And you flip it over. Whoops. Space Force. Yeah, so first military coin. Think it's kind of cool. Actually, I want to see if they have. I want to find if they have a bigger one. But yes, Space Force. I'm all about Space Force because I was incorporated. I was actually part owner in a company called Space Island Group back in 99, 98, 99. And we were going to build the first wheel space station in orbit. We had contracts with Hilton to be the hotel aspect of it. And each wheel space station would hold 300 people comfortably like a cruise ship. And it was going to be made out of previous shuttle mission launches where the external tank, the big orange belly tank, they were going to leave them in orbit. And then they would have couplings on the front and back, use side rocket boosters as spokes, have another external tank in the middle as the center of the wheel. And, you have it spinning 1/3 gravity with centrifugal force. So walking, dancing is a little more exotic. But I was a part of that. And that was going to be my first tattoo. It was going to be my mission patch, right on my shoulder. And then 9/11 happened, and all the money, I think it was $40 billion that we were getting from all these investors from around the world to build it, including Hilton. It was 9/11. Everything changed. So the fact that we were pulling in over a certain amount of money, that money coming in from different countries right up to 9/11 was getting flagged by the government, and it was being analyzed and ridiculed and looked under with a fine-tooth comb, go to court, money would change hands. And it to this day is still waiting. I got like 400,000 shares in the company, and I got basically 2 sheets of paper. So, and now I know why, because Space Force. And I know this because the guy that the head of Space Force made an announcement of some of the new technologies they were going to use. And one of them was a thing that we were doing. We were going to be doing it not through the government. We were going to be like publicly or private company. And our wheel space station, each of those external tanks was going to have huge, large solar panels on it for power, of course, but also the excess power, because here you are in orbit in this wheel space station, and you got these solar panels facing the sun. You don't have the ozone layer, you don't have atmosphere, all this stuff diffusing it, right? Or the electromagnetosphere protecting. So it's like solar power on steroids. And we were working with companies like Raytheon, who were working with NASA with these diodes that, okay, I'm not gonna get too technical. I'm just gonna say it like this. Imagine you've got electricity, okay? And you turn it into a radio frequency. Zap it via satellite dish, from orbit after it's converted down to an array of satellite dishes on the ground, and then converting it back to electricity. No, this is not sci-fi. This is legitimate, true technology that has been tested and proven by NASA and Raytheon. And you can watch the videos. I mean, it was back in like the 80s and 90s when they did this. So what we were going to do is we were going to be up there with our hotel, and we were going to, not only have our own electricity, but we were going to do the excess and send it down to the earth. And eventually we wanted to have an array, a ring of them, a halo of them around the earth, kind of like Starlink with Elon Musk, and take that. And as the satellites are on the sun-facing side of the earth, it's collecting the electricity and zapping it down to particular arrays on the ground, which were basically like a football field, if not 2 football field size chain link fence on its side. Okay. And it would catch that beam as it would come over. That satellite would come over, then the next one would come over and it would do its beam. So it was like constantly, like, okay, this is really, I'm doing this is not right. Just imagine if it's like constantly going, you have a constant beam coming down to the earth, powering up cities and factories and everything, right? And it would save a lot of money. Well, with all of the rigmarole we got at Space Island Group, with the money and our investors and just everything, the government bent us over. Okay. Now we know why. Because they wanted to release wireless electricity to the world and be the heroes. Okay, great, fine. But you could at least, when you do the documentary on wireless electricity, yes, it came from Tesla. Don't get me wrong. We were using Tesla technology. Okay. Give us little guys some credit. We tried to bring it to the world, but you guys snuffed us out. All right. You never allowed us to get our money. All right. So Space Force, proud of you, but I'm a little pissed at you at the same time because you took away that was going to be my thing. I was going to get to go into space privately. This was before Virgin. This is before Elon, okay? Space Island Group, the video on the website is really old. We're talking like 99, 2000. But yeah, it was legit. If you watch the Sony, with the video we did for Sony was going to jump on board. I was going to be in charge of entertainment and zero gravity sports. I was the first guy to do that. We were inventing sports where you'd have one of the tanks. Right now, an external tank on its side is 3 stories high. On the launch pad, it's 16, 17 stories high. Big tank. Inside, it's like a big arena. So I was inventing these games where, you have these little wristbands with like little fans, right? And you get so many poofs. And because, you're zero gravity and it's just giving you a little bit to move, but you're only allowed so many, little, and you got rings you got to go through and capture the ball. I had all these sports ideas that we were working on and new gizmos and gadgets. But powers that be snuffed us out because at that time I didn't know about the secret space program that was going on. and let alone we didn't have Space Force yet. So, God, why did I talk about all that? Shoot. Because you mentioned Space Force. Okay, we're moving on. True Soldier says, what's up, Doc? I've seen Skinner. LOL. Sorry, I'm late, buddy. How's everything going? Everything's going good. It's been a rough couple of months, like for everybody. Okay, nothing special. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just saying that's facts. And I'm back on track. Show 2 this week. Friday, I'll be on We Are Paradox Media for a 3-hour show from 8 to midnight or 11. No, it's 2 hours. No, yeah, 8 to 11. Duh. And then on the 14th, is it next week? No. Crap. I gotta check. But I'm gonna be on another show, and it's a 2-hour show, and I don't have the sheet that I wrote it down. All right. Vernon China says, you're right. I'm not, you're good. I like you. Oh, well, thank you, China. Good. I am not here to offend. Might piss some people off because, well, sometimes things need to be spoken. But for the record, I am not racist. There are, I think, okay, oh God, this is not where I want to go, but I want to say it. There are people, okay, in every race and color. Now, I want you to hear me really, really good on this, because if anybody ever calls me a racist, I'm going to bitch slap you. And I use the bitch word. Okay. There, in every single race, color, creed, man and woman, and this is going to shock a lot of you that I'm going to say this, but it's a fact. There are people that are just assholes. That's right. I know. Shocking, right? And so there's in China. I'm starting with you, but I'm gonna. There's also okay. I'll start with there's white trash. There's others for dark skin. There's everybody. You know all the terms that are derogatory, that are hateful, and usually those comments are attached to individuals that happen to be that race, or whatever, who just happen to be a dumbass or a dick. Okay. And they got called something. Now, when people use that and they associate to the entire race, no. No, there are people of every color and every race that are assholes. Just a fact. Anyway, I'm done with that one. China, I'm sorry. China, I like you. Yeah, thank you. Says you're right. Vernon says Illuminati. Hard hitting MB83. Welcome. It's not a nude of you, is it? Okay, it's those bathroom pics. Space fake, but inner space is real. Hard hitting MB83. I'm gonna say the MB83. Could that be? Is that like your radio, or are you a ham radio operator? Usually they look like that. I'm just curious. But space fake, but inner space is real. Okay, hard hitting. Okay, space is fake. I have never been to outer space. My hope and goal is before I leave this planet, I will have the opportunity to do so. Whether it's like Virgin Galactic, paying to go up or whatever. I hope that before I go, I can go into that stratosphere and look out into the unknown. I would like to have that opportunity. Inner space is real, though. Hard hitting says. As such, I have never been to the center of the earth. Now, I brought that up. I'm going to do a little shameless self-promotion. Let's see. No, wait, NDIEE.com. It's .com, right? Come on now. Come on now. Hurry up. I got to show this off. Okay. So, hard hitting. You're saying that the inner Earth or inner space is real. I would like to show you a project that I am actually a part of. We were supposed to go this year in 2021, but because of COVID, everything has been pushed back, repositioned to August of 2022. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I talked to you about the working on Space Island Group with the orbital thing. I don't like to think small. Okay, I'm always doing things big. Like, do you guys know about that satellite? I think it was this year, maybe it was last year, but they had a satellite that they launched into the sun. Do you remember that? I'll have to look it up because I got a certificate for it because I had my name. They did it for anybody that wanted to do it, but I put my name on that thing. I'm like, okay, my name is digitally on this chip, and it's on a satellite, and it's going into the sun. How many people can say that? Well, probably everybody that's on the computer chip that went up there, but you know what I'm saying. So when I found out, and I didn't ask. This I was kind of like, no, you're on the team. You just don't know it. I'm like, oh my God, check this out. There we go. There we go. All right. So this is the North Pole Inner Earth expedition. That's going to happen in August of 2022. It'll be launched out of Russia, and we will be going to the North Pole on this awesome, brand new Russian nuclear icebreaker. That's it right there when it was in the shipping yard being built. And of course, this is what it'll look like when it's done, if it's not already. But look at this. It is a beast. That's a city right there. And this thing, the hull of the ship is concrete, which allows it to break through the ice. And all I can say is I'm going to be in one of these rooms, and hopefully with a port window and heater, and I'll be editing video day and night on this journey. Will I get off the boat? When we get back. Will I go on the ice and stuff? No. If it's not a glacier, if it's like a mountain, it's like solid, it's rock, it's and there's a boat dock. Yes, I'll go over there. I'll climb around over there. But I'm going to leave it to the experts. We're going to have 120 plus scientists and researchers that will be joining this expedition. And it's really exciting. Here it is, the Arctica. That's the name of the ship. It's 450 feet long, 75,000 horsepower from 2 electric motors powered by a nuclear reactor. The Arctica class ship is the most advanced icebreaker in the world, able to smash through 3 meters of ice, and it can accommodate 125 passengers with a comfort and safety. And I'm really, really stoked. Okay, so going back here, about the mission, about us. Let's see if this is it. It's taking a second to load. So this is all done by Brooks Agnew. He's the spearheading all of this. He's the expedition leader. And if you don't know Brooks Agnew, where have you been? He's a major friend of the show and me. He's like a brother. We're working on a book series to turn into a movie trilogy. And just awesome guy. Then we got Brad Olson, who's the expedition leader as well. He's been to Antarctica. He's been all over the world. He's like Indiana Jones. And then Terry, I don't know if Terry's still on with us. Terry is always usually, let me see, she jumped on early on in the show, right? I think she did. God, a lot of people on tonight. Wonderful. Well, anyway, Terry, you'll see, she's one of my moderators. That's her. Lovely image right there, Terry Reesing. And she's a logistics expert. And then, of course, myself, I will be that's my resume. I thought, yeah.
Here it says, everything we do on the expedition is done with audience in mind. It doesn't really say what I'm doing. It just kind of gives me my resume. But yes, I'm going to be the dude doing that. Suzanne Ross will be sponsoring it with the SciSpy.tv network that will be broadcasting. We're going to do our best to go live via satellite if we can. It's just we're going to be literally at the North Pole, and there's maybe like 1 or 2 satellites, so makes it kind of spooky and fun and scary. But yes, so that's what we're going to be doing in 2022. So please keep up with that, and you can get the newsletter here. It's nippy, because it's going to be really nippy at this event. It's 2 weeks. It's npiee.com. Check it out. And yeah, like I said, get the newsletter, learn more. If you want to be a part of it, you're a scientist, researcher, or a scholar, or you're in college, you're working on your doctorate or something, let us know. See if we're going to need help funding from a lot of the universities. I mean, it's I think it's $3 million we have to raise to get this ship. Oh, here it is. It says live stream from ship. Yeah. So this is, I guess, the satellite that God, that's so weird now I'm saying this. Here, we will operate 4 channels of live streaming content from the Arctica class ship with 125 passengers plus a crew of more than 100 on board. The sun will be up 22 hours a day, and we will be filming 24 hours a day, including a full-time UFO watch. All experiments, smashing through the meters of ice, and interviews with scientists and explorers of the ship will be included. Multiple helicopter flights to the ice floes around the ship and beyond will take place and will be filmed as well. In all, more than 3,000 hours of film will be collected and it sounds really cool, right? Oh yeah, 3,000 hours of film will be collected and feature film will be produced after the voyage. Subscribers getting access to everything. Yeah. Unless you're the dude editing. I see that, I'm like, oh shit. But how I'm going to be doing it, of course, I won't be filming everywhere. So I'm going to be trying to get in contact with DJI, who makes these nice little boogers. This is the Osmo, and it doesn't look that cool right now because it's not on. So this thing shoots at 4K. So the idea is to take this and hopefully like get 20 of them, 30 of them, and of course some drones. Going to need 3, 4, 5 drones. So I'm hoping DJI will come on board with this expedition because it's going to be epic. It's going to be totally epic. And shit, I'll give them their stuff back at the end of it. I don't care as long as I can have access to it. And what I'll do is I will be giving these out. And they'll have the little clips that go on to the shoulder straps, so they're their bags and their gear and whatnot. And give these to each of the expeditions each day that they, or the helicopter pilot. We'll have stuff in the helicopter too, all kinds of stuff. And then all they do is they come back to me on the ship where I'm warm in my room and bring me like the little memory cards. And then I just sit there and edit and edit and edit because it's 22 hours a day of sunlight. Can't be sleeping on the, just can't be sleeping. So I'll be doing that for 2 weeks. And learning how to use this satellite that you see up there, which this is the first time I've actually seen the image of the satellite. That is just so wild to think I'm going to be sending a signal from a ship to a satellite, and it's going to beam back down to wherever to go onto the interwebs so that you all can watch it. And God, that's seriously, this is the first time I've pulled up the website because he's updated stuff. Brooks has, and that satellite looks pretty cool. God, it's just. I know there's people out there who work with satellites all the time. It's no big deal to them, but for me, it's like a first. So I'm pretty stoked about it. Anyway, so there you go. That was for hard hitting MB83. I hope you enjoy that. Check that out. Vernon says Joaquin on Bose. Vernon says interpersonal soul space, I believe, was the meaning. Oh, I see what you're okay. Then he was like, oh my God, you need a puppy babysitter. So what, Princess and Romeo can come stay with us. Well, there might, by that time, there we might have a few more because we might have actually several litters by then. So, but yeah, we'll have plenty of puppies. All right, so that's what's going on. I love that I got this screen sharing thing. I just totally dig it. What else? So we've talked about space. We've talked about, I got into race. China, thanks for pointing that out. I'm so glad that we could do this. You know, at least there's this communication because so many people misconstrue things. I hate texting. I hate emails because people lose the inflection of your voice. You know, are you kidding about what you're saying? Or are you dead serious about what you're saying? You know, you can't do that with text. And most of the time you're misspelling stuff or putting in the wrong words because of, you know, speak and spell or whatever it is that we've got these days. God, I'm sounding like an old, groggy old man. I don't just, gosh, old thing of my jiggies that have connected to the DC, IC, something, lat. I'm done. I can't even put words together. All right. Once again, another 2-hour show. Who do you know? What do you know? What do you know? And I stopped, I think, 9:03 last night, too. Okay. We'll stop it there. I'll come up with some more titillating stuff for maybe tomorrow. We'll see what the world has to offer. So remember, folks, as long as we all lift each other up, we will all rise together. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. My name is Doc Skinner. And this is 1028 Live, broadcasting from the beautiful White Mountains of Arizona, here in the great United States, on this big planet, what we call Earth, hurtling through space, chasing a gigantic ball of fire. Until next time, America, I'll see you on the flip side. Good night, Doc Skinner. I'm out. What else? What else can I say? It's like cliche.